Hello, and welcome to episode number 63 of WrestleRotica, the podcast that combines wrestling and erotica. This week we have two stories to share with you. The first story is entitled, Brie Bella Cream Pie a la Mode. In this story, a lucky fan is given the opportunity to meet any of the WWE superstars or divas as a result of winning a fan duel competition. The fan decides to meet both of the Bellas. However, Nikki soon has to excuse herself, which allows the fan to get particularly close to Brie Bella. The second story is entitled Total Affairs. After a long and strenuous filming session at Total Divas, Nikki Bella, Paige, and Natalya head to the nearest private beach to relax and enjoy each other's company. Without further ado, let's get to this week's stories. This story is entitled Brie Bella Cream Pie a la Mode, and it is written by WildFA user Tommy CB. After winning the WWE DraftKings tournament, which included front row tickets to Monday Night Raw, and prior to that, lunch with either a WWE superstar or diva of my choosing, I flew out on plane, all expenses paid, to Seattle, Washington. Where Raw was going to be at, to enjoy my day. The person I chose to hang out with, well, actually were two, in the Bella twins.
You can look, but you can't touch. You keep dreaming on the stars above.
The limo dropped me off at a restaurant, and I got out, and there was Brie and Nikki, already there to greet me, and whatnot. After the introductions, we all sat down and had lunch, and for the most part we talked about fantasy football, and how Nikki and Brie were so impressed with how I was able to win so easily, and asked for advice on how to be better fantasy players. Then Nikki and Brie signed photos, and we took pictures. Both with each lady, and a group shot, so a total of 3 pictures were taken. However, Nikki had a prior commitment with John, and couldn't stay long, but she hugged me and congratulated me on the win, and said she'd see me at the show and have fun. That left me and Brie alone, just continuing to talk, and she just talked about what she and Brian had in store for the future, both personal and professional, as they knew their wrestling tenures were winding down, and she also mentioned how some of Brian's injuries were affecting their sex life.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs!
And how in a way she got tired of doing the same old stuff, and wanted to try new things. I couldn't help but notice Brie having 3 of her buttons undone from her flannel top, and she was wearing a push-up bra, and tight jeans, and some heels, but I maintained my focus listening to her talk. As soon as I could open my mouth to reply, she placed her hand on my leg, having a nice big smile on her face, and thankfully, this was a private lunch, because any fans that saw this, it would have went viral in a second. Brie said, "Let's just get out of here," and the lunch was already paid for by WWE. We sneaked up out through the back door entrance of the restaurant, and into what was an unmarked car that nobody could recognize. And I asked her where we were going, and Brie said, "You'll see." Just about 10 to 15 minutes later, we arrived at a log cabin where there wasn't a soul in sight. I grabbed my bag as Brie unlocked the door and went in, and I followed in behind her. She told me to get my stuff in the other room, and I did. I asked Brie what was that all about earlier, with her putting her hand on my thigh, and Brie just uttered, "Ow, how a girl's gotta have needs," and though she loved Brian, she loved sex even more, and having gone nearly a year without a good pounding was far too much for her to take. She leaned in close to me, undoing the rest of her top, exposing her bra and tight body. She grabbed my hand and placed it on her jean-covered ass, and for a split second, I resisted. For a split second, and Brie calmed me down, saying it was fine, and how her phone didn't have service out here, and Brian was too weak to even attempt to drive out this way. With that, we leaned in together for a kiss, which was slow and soft. Our tongues massaged her lips, covered in cherry lip gloss, and me not believing this was really happening. I'm about to have sex with a Bella. I undid Bree's pants and slowly peeled them down to her ankles. As Bree stepped out of them, we headed to the master bedroom as Bree pushed me down on the bed and crawled on top of me, kissing me more. Then slowly, her way down to my shorts, undoing my fly, pulling my shorts down to my thighs, exposing my cock, which stood at full attention. Bree took my cock, slowly stroking it, then wrapped her sexy lips around my head, going up and down, then taking her tongue, swirling it around the head, still and spitting on it. I was in absolute awe of this amazing blowjob Bree was giving me, but as great as the head was, I wanted to taste her even more.
Oh yeah!
So I turned the tables on her and pulled her panties down, throwing them to the floor. Bree was spread eagle. Her pussy looked so sweet, with a neatly trimmed bush, and I dived right in, tasting that Bella pussy. I spat on it myself, making it more wet than it was before. Bree jerked her hips widely when my tongue hit her clit. She grabbed the back of my head, pushing me in more, grinding her pussy on my face, and my lips and chin were covered in Bree's juices. All the oral play was fun, but I told Bree there was one thing I've wanted to do to her since she came back in 2013. And she said, what was it? And I said, I wanted to give her a nice cream pie, and she smiled big hearing that. I stood up and pulled Bree to the edge of the bed. I spat on my cock for lube. And I just slid myself in, and her pussy was so snug. I started out with nice, steady, slow strokes, but picked up the pace just a bit. Bree pulled up her push-up bra, exposing her tits fully, and I started sucking one of her tits, while still pounding her pussy. Bree's moans turned to hot, heavy screams, while I was still fucking, and she reached underneath to massage my balls, and I felt myself ready to come. And I whispered that I was building this load up for a long time, and Bree just encouraged me to let it go, and with 1 to 2 more thrusts, I let out the biggest stream of cum in her pussy, as she wrapped her legs around me, wanting to get every last drop, and I was still shooting cum inside her. After my last few drops, I rolled over beside her, exhausted, and she rolled over on top of me and kissed me. She went down and wiped the rest of the cum on her tits, and she jerked me off a little bit to milk more cum out as I fell back on the bed again. We jumped in the shower to clean up. And we laid in the bed for an hour, with her head on my chest and my arm wrapped around her. The end. This story is entitled Total Affairs, and it was written by nude WWE Divas member Arcanine878. As the camera stopped rolling for today's filming of the hit e-show Total Divas, Nikki Bella, along with the ever so beautiful Paige, and the dominatrix-like Natalya, decided to spend the Friday down at the Royal Palms, a hotel that included a private beach. Looking to get away with all the drama the other girls bring, these 3 divas sought to unwind and relax on a perfect day. Wearing their favorite bikinis, the trio of divas claimed their lounge chairs and umbrellas near the shore, away from the masses of people.
We the people!
Nikki pulled out her phone, taking a quick bikini selfie for millions of followers on Instagram. As the photo went up in the air, people immediately started commenting on the photo, and even going as far as sharing them on forums. She received comments ranging from, "Fuck me, your tits make my cock hard," to, "AJ Lee is the better wrestler." Nikki decided now would be a good time to check on her Bella Army. Scrolling down on her Instagram feed, she noticed that Total Divas wasn't the only wrestling-related reality show that viewers were raving about. The new Divas House was making waves throughout the WWE universe. Ugh! Who do these former divas think they are? No one can topple our show. Nikki barked at her screen, viewing all the positive comments towards the show. Well, Nikki, they do have some of the hottest former divas all in one show. What's not to love about it? Natty replied, giving the former divas a chance. Yeah! They're former. It's the past. And they should be focusing on the present. Which is us! Nikki yelled, turning off her phone to settle down. She settled down deeper into her beach chair, enjoying the breeze as it flew through her hair. Oh, Nikki! Lighten up! We're here to relax and bask in the sun. Enjoy our time! Paige said, trying to settle down the current Divas champion. The three divas enjoyed the nice Miami weather, as the ocean waves continued to crash against the soft sand. The divas enjoyed the one-day vacation they had, because they know a day like this will not come back for a while. As time passed, the leader of the Bella Army decided to give the girls a little treat. Anybody care for a little wine? Nikki asked, pulling out a bottle of Pinot Noir and a couple plastic wine cups from her expensive Michael Kors bag that Cena probably bought for her. Damn, Nikki! How much stuff can you fit in that suitcase? Paige questioned, poking fun at the luxury of the second longest reigning champion. Well, you know, she always carries her emergency dildo, just in case she's horny and Cena isn't around.
The champ is here!
Natty jested. Oh, shut up, Natty! My dildos probably pack more of a punch than TJ. Nikki shot back, pouring her wine into the plastic containers. All right! I'll admit you got me there. Natty blushed. But have you seen Cesaro? When him and I are alone, man, my pussy gets drenched. It's no wonder he's nicknamed the Swiss Superman, because I become weak whenever he sticks it in. Sounds like you and Cesaro go at it a lot. Paige winked, receiving 2 wine cups and passing one down to Natty. When you're a diva in the WWE, you can't just fuck one superstar.
What?
Don't act like you guys never wanted to fuck one, Natty pointed out, taking a sip from her wine as the other two thought about it. I fucked many in my time. Big E, Ziggler, Barrett, even the man Triple H himself, she recalled, making sure she remembered every guy she's fucked so far. So, is it true? Is the package great? Paige leaned in, wanting to know the juicy gossip on the male wrestlers. Ever since Big E, all the heavyweight superstars know that I like them big, Natty emphasized, proud of her accomplishments. After moments of chatting, the divas finished gulping down the wine from their containers, and eventually the whole bottle itself. Nikki burrowed the bottom half of the bottle into the sand, signifying its finish.
Finish him!
The waves started crashing down harder, and the clouds began to disappear from the beach, as the sun shined straight down on the divas. The Miami heat began to brew, as the divas could feel their skins warming up from the sun. Nikki grabbed her bag, searching around in it before pulling out a bottle of sunscreen. Hey, Natty, Nikki said with a pleading tone. You mind rubbing my back down? The WWE Divas champion untied her red bikini top straps, letting it slide off her body as her breast settled down into its natural position. Well, If you're already stripping off your top, I guess I have no other choice. Natty laughed as she got up and received the bottle of sunscreen. Nikki turned herself over into her seat, pressing her large boobs between her and her seat. The busty Natty positioned herself onto Nikki, planting her rear right between Nikki's own, opening the lid and squeezing the bottle from above. The white sunscreen came pouring down onto the total diva, giving Nikki a nice, cold chill across her back. Nikki smiled as she closed her eyes and rested her head down. With both hands, the heart member rubbed Nikki's back hard, spreading the cream all around. Natty brushed her hands up to Nikki's shoulders, massaging it a bit, releasing any tension that Nikki could possibly have. Continuing on the sunscreen massage, Natty lowered her palms, traveling to the booty of the Bella. Like a ticking bomb, Natty decided to remove the red wires holding the lower regions of Nikki. The red straps were untied, and Nikki's ass exploded out of the bikini bottom. But this bomb did more joy than harm. "Paige! Come here!" Natty eagerly whispered, lifting her sunglasses up to see what was going on. The anti-diva immediately spotted out Nikki's big ass. "Oh boy! I've waited a long time for Nikki to finally show us that ass," Paige thought as she quickly got up from her seat. She pulled a chair next to Natty as the valet for TJ and Cesaro handed Paige the bottle of sunscreen. She poured a huge amount onto Nikki's ass, glazing it like a toaster strudel. The two divas got one ass, Paige with the left cheek holding the tattoo, and Nikki with the right cheek. Each gave their own personal booty massage. Natty used one hand, shining her side like a wheel, rubbing her palm into that juicy cheek, and making it shine from the lotion. Meanwhile, Paige used both hands, biting her lips and pressing into her side like a cat with a blanket. "Damn, Nikki! How much do you work on this ass?" Paige questioned as she continued to rub the lotion in, focusing on the perfection of the Bella booty. "Alright, Paige! You ready?" Natty mouthed silently, as Paige longingly nodded in approval. "Alright, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3! The two divas raised their hands, and quickly came down to give a nice, juicy slap. The pair of cheeks jiggled in pain, as Nikki popped her head up in shock, dropping her jaw as she looked back at the two other divas poking fun. In an instant, Nikki wiggled her nude body, pushing Natty off her into the sand. She laughed as she came crashing down into soft sand. Pretending as if the beach was a WWE ring, Nikki went to go hold down Natty, pinning her against the sand.
1, 2, 3!
"Paige! Get her!" Nikki shouted, having fun with her co-workers. Paige quickly rushed over to Natty, ripping her top off like it's a brawl and panty match. The dominatrix diva's tits hung loose, as her top was viciously ripped off her body. As she was distracted from her missing article of clothing, Nikki quickly slid off the bottom pair, leaving Natty in the sand, a combination that did not mix well. "You guys! You're lucky no one can see us right now!" Natty yelled in shock as she held her boobs in her arms. The two turned their attention to the first NXT Divas champion, who still was shielded by her clothes, taunting Natty's bra like a cowgirl. Quickly getting back up, the veteran divas ran towards Paige, trapping her like she's a monkey in the middle. It wasn't long until Paige was pinned down and stripped to her tits. The trio of divas giggled as their fun got the best of them, walked back to their lawn chairs with their towels stripped across the floor beneath them. "Alright, ladies, I gotta admit, Nikki, you have one fantastic ass. And I mean it. Like, yeah. We may have Layla, and even the boss herself has a nice set. But damn, Nikki. Bravo to you, girl. Oh! Thanks, Paige! Nikki said as she got up and modeled her excellent ass set for the two. Paige, mesmerized by the fabulous Bella booty, began groping the two cheeks. Cupping them in the palms of her hand, Natty bit her lips as she saw the youngest ever Divas champion going at Nikki's ass, groping it and massaging it. Paige squeezed the wonderful behind of the champ before spreading the cheeks, getting a view of her tight asshole and another view of her pretty pussy. Nikki bent over on the lawn chair, resting her arms at the head as she parked her ass up. She looked behind her as Paige continued to spread her cheeks apart. Meanwhile, the Queen of Hearts decided to get in on the action. Getting close to Nikki's ass, she stuck her tongue out and pressed it barely past the Diva Champion's pussy lips. Fuck! You taste so good! Natty pulled out to speak before going back in. Deeper this time as Nikki let out soft moans. The Heart member lapped her tongue inside Nikki's pussy, filling her inside edges as she coated the walls with her saliva, mixing Natty's liquids and Nikki's pussy liquids to make her pussy even wetter. The Queen flicked her tongue around, pushing the lips back and forth to her careful motions, before giving Nikki's sweet spot one huge sucking, attempting to suck out all her liquids before putting it back in, as she went to go race her tongue around her inside, sticking the tip of her tongue in deeper this time. She traced her tongue around the busty Bella's clit, sticking to it as if it were a bee on honey.
Honeycomb, me want honeycomb!
As Paige continued to massage Nikki's ass, she brushed her finger around the perimeter of Nikki's asshole, teasing her a bit. The anti-diva gave a small wad of spit down onto Nikki's ass as it traveled to hole. The sticky solution coated the hole, making it easier for Paige to give a nice finger polish. After her asshole was nice and wet, Paige slipped her finger inside, causing Nikki to give one nice, loud moan as she looked back at the two divas working both sides of her. Nikki cupped her tits as she moaned, rubbing her perky nipples harder as Natty and Paige were diving in. Paige couldn't help but get a taste of Nikki's brown spot. She dove on in with her tongue, stuffing and stretching her hole a bit as she maneuvered her warm tongue into her behind, giving it a nice yet sloppy rim job. Natalya began to arch her back, getting her tongue in at a different angle as she continued to eat out Nikki's shaved vagina. She tugged softly on her lips a bit, as if Nikki's pussy were a nice, chewy steak that could never be torn apart. Natty held on to Nikki's thighs, spreading them apart a bit, forcing Nikki to open up even wider, as she wanted to taste every inch of Nikki's clam. Natty decided that her tongue was full, and she conquered Nikki's pussy like Paul Heyman's client Brock Lesnar conquered The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania.
The streak is over!
She got up and out of her seat as Paige came to claim her spot on the lawn chair. Laying on her back, she scooted herself up to meet Nikki's drenched pussy. Nikki lowered herself, helping Paige meet her target, as she eagerly waved her tongue out. As Nikki placed her pussy down far enough for Paige, the British diva whirled her tongue inside Nikki like the Tasmanian devil, getting the remains of what Natalya left for her. Fuck! Nikki! Your muffin is so sweet! Paige moaned as she continued to eat out the Total Diva co-star. Meanwhile, Natty bent over to make out with Nikki, sharing a few passionate kisses, as they enjoyed the moment in harmony. After a few rounds of lip locking, Natty stood straight, squeezing her tits and giving it all to Nikki. As Nikki began to suck on the Nineheart's nipples, one at a time, Nikki slowly licked the former diva of Doom's nipple. As if it was a fresh ice cream cone, twirling her tongue around the nipple, Nikki quickly made it hard, and made Natty hornier. But the champ still had one more nipple to go. She kissed her way over to the other boob, grabbing it with one hand as she moved it to her mouth, licking it faster this time around. "Ah, yes, Nikki! Yes!" Natty groaned as she brushed her friend's long brown hair back, making sure it doesn't get in her way. Natty's nipples were now glazed and hard, but Nikki wasn't done there, as she still continued to get the taste of tit between her lips. As she sucked on Natty's already solid nipples, Paige began stroking her own pussy, rubbing her hand across her lips as she continued to taste Nikki's vagina. As her tongue stretched deeper into Nikki's honey pot, Paige slipped a finger down her own pussy, rubbing it against her clit as her tongue rubbed against Nikki's walls. At this point, Nikki's pussy was dripping wet, and Paige and Natty tasted all she had to offer. Nikki and Paige got up, and Natty took Nikki's spot on the chair. She sat down in it, back against the chair's own back, spreading her legs to the side. Paige was the first to claim Natty's trimmed pussy, and she eagerly went in to take it. On all fours, Paige lowered her head down to meet Natty's tight pussy. She ate it out just like she ate out Nikki's, rapidly pressing her tongue in deeper into Natty's cock dungeon. As Paige bobbed her tongue in and out of the Nineheart cat, Nikki met her tongue with Paige's pink pussy, making this session into an all-you-can-eat pussy train. Nikki held Paige's ass in place as she burrowed her nose and tongue into Paige, getting her first taste of England pussy. The three divas all moaned out, one after another. Nikki and Paige loving the taste they're getting, as Natty moaned the loudest, rubbing her tits and bucking her hips, as her pussy was reaching satisfaction. Paige inched deeper and deeper down Natty's pussy, spreading her lips wider with her hands, as Natty held down Paige's head, helping her reach her destination. Nikki twisted her head, filling her tongue in as many different ways as she could. After a while, Nikki pulled her tongue out and began lapping the outside of Paige's shaven pussy, stroking her tongue up and down like a paintbrush before giving Paige's pussy one final kiss. Nikki got back up again as Paige and Natty lay down on the lawn chair. They both stuck their legs up and spread them as far as they could, giving Nikki the options to go back and forth. Nikki bent down on her knees, first going at Natty's penis pocket.
What?
Nikki slowly swirled her tongue around inside Natty, filling her trained pussy, getting all she could of the Nineheart in her mouth. Nikki! Lick my pussy clean! Natty encouraged, as the Bella continued to eat her out. Nikki drew back her tongue, smiling at the tasteful pussy Natty has given her. As Natty rubbed her own pussy a bit, Nikki moved back over to Paige, going to town on her tight cunt. "Oh God, Nikki! Yes!" Paige screamed, as Natty's tongue slurped the inside of Paige's. Paige stretched the top of her pussy, giving Nikki's a tighter squeeze, as her tongue forced her way inside. Nikki sucked on Paige's clit, making a brief stay there, as Paige's moans grew louder and louder. As Paige had one hand on her pussy, the other was on Natty's clam, not wanting to leave her out. She stuck not one, not two, but an amazing 3 inside the nice hole of Natty. Natalya moaned as Paige's fingers dripped inside her, massaging her insides a bit as the sensation grew for all three divas. Nikki drew her tongue back out of Paige and switched back over to Natalya, rubbing her tongue in and out of her pussy as she wiggled her head around. "Ah! Oh fuck! Oh fuck, I'm gonna come!" Natty moaned. But that didn't stop Nikki as she buried her tongue in her. Not moving her head at all, Nikki's tongue ran around Natty's pussy like she was racing. It took an effort, but like all divas before Nikki, they all had to tap out the match. Natalya began coming a stream of ooze, seeping out of her vagina. Nikki got a nice amount of natty nectar on her taste buds, giving the rest of Paige to taste and clean up. Paige eagerly slid her tongue around, finding the rest of the cum and any leftovers she may have hidden. Natty pressed herself deeper into the seat, panting heavily as she regained her breath. Damn, Natty! It's no wonder all the boys love fucking you! You came so hard! Oh yeah! Nikki joked as she prepared for Paige. Paige got up and bent over the head of the lawn chair, perking her plump ass. Nikki got on her knees and began finger-fucking Paige with 2 fingers. She slid her fingers in and out of Paige fast, thrusting her pussy like a toy. Ah, fuck, Nikki! My pussy's so wet right now! Paige moaned as Nikki continued to pick up the pace, ravishing the English diva's muffin. She skidded her fingers against Paige's walls, sending nothing but positive vibes all around her body. But like Natty, Paige soon found herself breathing harder and growing weaker. Oh shit, Nikki! I think I'm gonna come! She moaned out loud as Nikki quickly switched her fingers with her juicy tongue, getting nothing but ass in her face and pussy around her tongue. She flicked her tongue like a switch, stretching everything in her path. Paige soon found her legs growing stiff as her white, liquid gold began pouring out in a great amount.
There's gold in them there shells. Liquid gold.
Nikki sucked and slurped all Paige gave her, swallowing every last bit down her throat. Paige! I'm sure Bree would love to have some of your cum, Nikki noted as she continued to lick the remains of the total diva. It was now Nikki's turn as she laid down on the chair, spreading her legs far apart. Natty and Paige both stuck their tongues inside the twin, giving nothing but magic to her. As Natty's and Paige's tongues slid together, Nikki's hole was filled just as much as John would have filled it.
The champ is here!
The two flicked their tongues together for the diva, filling her pussy with ecstasy. Just like her friends, Nikki's reign would have to end. Ah, fuck! I'm coming! I'm coming! Nikki yelled, and sure she was, giving a river of cum as Paige and Natty's tongue each got a taste of Nikki cream. Paige got up, wiping her mouth clean, as Natty continued to get the leftover cream pie. Nikki laid still, regaining energy as each diva's pussy was now drained. Ah, fuck! That was great! Paige said, smiling at the job the three of them accomplished. Just imagine if the rest of the divas were so horny and willing as we were. Damn! That would be some great backstage orgies, Natty thought. Alright, ladies, let's get going back inside the hotel before some cameraman catches us naked. We can continue back inside, Nikki offered, giving Paige another kiss. The three divas wrapped their fit bodies with a towel before slowly making their way back to the hotel for another session. The end. Thank you for listening to episode 63 of WrestleRotica. If you enjoyed this week's stories, please be sure to like and review us on iTunes, as well as tell a friend. Visit us elsewhere online, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and as always, our official website, WrestleRoticapod.com. Thank you and have a good week.